A very good morning to all of you and welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. As usual, let us start with the snippets. The very first one, joint operation. 8 Maoists killed in Jharkhand encounter. All are simple words, one word if at all, encounter. Police encounter. Good morning, Rajshekhar and others also, Lakshmi. Encounter, it goes with police, and police, they try to encounter the criminals. One meaning. Another meaning, encounter, head on collision, you can say, face off, you can say, to meet someone, usually not friends, but you can say those with hostility. Encounter, police encounter, Jharkhand. Sometimes we mention the place, Jharkhand encounter. Otherwise, nothing to learn as such from that snippet. Coming to the second snippet over here, safeguard duty. India imposes 12% temporary tariffs on steel imports. Now, around the world, tariff war is on, and based on that, here, the latest development, safeguard duty. India imposes 12% temporary tariffs. India has imposed tariffs, but not permanent, temporary. To what extent? 12%. Which particular product or import of what? On steel imports. Coming to the next headline, next snippet, something wrong. EC is compromised, says Rahul in US. From this, you should understand Rahul Gandhi, right now, he is not in India. He is in the US, and something is compromised, or EC is compromised, someone is compromised. Compromise has 2 or 3 meanings, and based on the context, you have to apply the meaning. In this context, EC Election Commission is compromised. It means it is like accusing Election Commission. It is like Election Commission has gone in for some sort of understanding and not performing its duty properly. Accusing Election Commission in a way is compromised means not maintaining transparency, not doing the job properly. Compromise, not considering the values or the virtues or the principles. That's what it means. The US, you have to recollect, the Netherlands, the Philippines, and the Irish Republic. India, China at 75. A time for strategy, not sentiment. The need for a model of competitive coexistence. It is about relation between India and China. India, China, 75 at 75. And this is a time for strategy, not sentiment. In a way, the article says this is not the time for sentiment, this is a time for strategy. What is that strategy? Coexistence. The need for a model of competitive coexistence. India and China, they are the emerging. China has gone to a different level. That's a different matter. But emerging superpowers, and they should think of some strategy to coexist in a peaceful manner. Words are very simple. We have a snippet based on the sports, yesterday's matches. Yesterday match, only one match, I suppose, showing the way. Gill in form as Titans down Knight Riders. You all know Gujarat won the match and Kolkata Knight Riders lost the match. Based on that, simple, showing the way, showing the path also, you can say. Gill in form. Someone is in form. Means playing extremely well. Not in form, out of form, opposite. In form, as Titans down Knight Riders. Let us go to the main headline from today's paper. What does it say? Modi Vance see significant progress in trade talks. Here you can see the Vice President of the US with his family and our Prime Minister, and they had a meeting. The US Vice President has visited our country right now in India. Based on that, they see significant progress. Significant means important. Important progress on which front? It comes to trade talks related to what? Related to tariffs, obviously. That is in the limelight. Coming to the other snippets here, Ask BJP to scrap NEET as terms for election alliance. It goes with the BJP and another party, AIADMK alliance in Tamil Nadu state. Based on that alliance, Tamil Nadu CM Stalin says if at all this particular regional party goes in for alliance with the BJP, it has to make a request. What is that? Ask BJP to scrap NEET, to cancel NEET as what? As terms for election alliance. When two parties join hands together, when they go in for alliance, they have requests from each party, one or two, and they are like obligations. Keeping that in mind, this statement has been given by the CM of Tamil Nadu state. Here we have another snippet. Protests erupt as WBSSC fails to publish list. It is about West Bengal School Service Commission. West Bengal School Service Commission, WBSSC. Protests erupt as WBSSC fails to publish list. It goes with the selection process, and yes, based on protests, recollect, yes, Vishnu, you have to recollect so many words I usually give. Procession, protest, slogans, placards, all these. And coming to this, it goes with recruitment related to teachers. And based on that, perhaps they have not published the list. Based on that, protests erupt. Usually it goes with volcanoes. We say volcanic eruption. But here something suddenly starts. Clashes or protests, you can use the word erupt. Rahul pushes for Rohit Vemula Act in Telangana. It goes with a particular act, goes with polity, and something like a statement given by Rahul Gandhi regarding what? Pushes for means he wants that to be implemented, in a way supporting something. Pushes for Rohit Vemula Act in Telangana. Another snippet, two ISRO satellites dock successfully for second time. Satellite docking for the second time successfully. This is an important topic. You have to read the news item because space technology, India is also one of the top players, and you may get as a passage in prelims or mains, definitely an important thing. You have to read the complete article to be in touch with the latest happenings related to space, sphere, or realm. Coming to the other headlines, this I have read out. Here we have a pick. I usually use this idiom, uphill task. It is an uphill task. Does it sound familiar? What does it mean? Uphill task means very difficult task. It is an uphill task means it's a difficult task. Uphill task. What is an uphill task? You can see the trucks got, all this is like landslip, and they are part of that. Very difficult to remove them from there. Based on that, uphill task. Clearing the road and removing these, not an easy thing. They got stuck in the debris. Lost road. Now you can't see the road because of the landslip. It happens quite natural whenever there is a landslide or landslip. It covers the road. And if at all there is a vehicle over there, that also gets covered and very difficult to remove. Vehicles stuck in the debris from flash floods and landslips along a mountain road in Ramban district of Jammu and Kashmir on Monday. The Jammu-Srinagar National Highway remains closed after debris blocked the route at nearly a dozen places. Oh, not one or two places, a dozen places. The landslips, the debris covered the roads and the vehicles. And clearing those, removing the vehicles from the debris, definitely an uphill task. Herculean task also you can say. That's also an important idiom. Coming to the other news headlines, Pope Francis, a cheerful reformer who stood for open church, dies at 88. Some students may wonder, he has already died. It should be in past. Why is it in present tense? When I teach present tense, I tell students, one of the uses of present tense, it is used by the journalist only for headlines to express past and future events. Headlines should be, it should be something like, he died at 88. But only for headlines, they use present tense, perhaps to make it interesting. A cheerful, there's one important word you can make out from his face also. Smiley is there. Cheerful person means what? Always smiling, happy go lucky person. Happy go lucky. Have you heard of this any time? Happy go lucky person means always jovial, cheerful, doesn't take anything seriously. Vatican City, yes. Pope Francis, a cheerful reformer who stood for open church, dies at 88. Coming to the another headline, Bengal violence. SC debates limits of power in issuing directions on plea. Supreme Court debates. Here, debate means to have a discussion. Limits of power in issuing directions on plea. Plea already you have got. Legal plea, everyday English, informal request, formal urge. All that you have to recollect. And here we have another snippet. Wife arrested for murder of former Karnataka DGP. Former Karnataka DGP was murdered by his wife. That is again something like sensational. A case of homicide. What is the meaning of homicide? Homo, human being, side, to kill. One person kills another person. That is known as a case of homicide. That's all from the front page of today's Hindu paper. Now let us go to today's editorial, an important editorial. It is about peace between Russia and Ukraine and the role of the US. Some important words are here. And if you ask the question, what is the enrichment? If you watch this for 30 minutes, you will improve your reading comprehension skill, your contextual awareness. You will learn effective words and you can consolidate your grammar knowledge. Besides all these, you can work on mini mocks. Now let us see the vocabulary part first. Elusive. For youngsters, for some youngsters, success is always elusive. They are intelligent, they are diligent. What is the meaning of diligent? One of the meanings, diligent means hardworking. Though they're intelligent, they are diligent, they don't get success. Then what do we say? Success is elusive. Elusive, part of speech, adjective, meaning. Difficult to find, catch, achieve, or understand. Rather than find, catch, find also you can use. Success is always elusive for some people, not for everyone. Difficult to achieve. Example, peace remains elusive despite years of negotiations. They have been negotiating, they have been deliberating. In spite of that, peace has been elusive. Means very difficult to find peace. Noun form, elusiveness, adverb, elusively. Word combinations, elusive peace, elusive solution, elusive goal. And for you guys, typical combination, elusive success. Word usage, often used to describe abstract things that are hard to attain or grasp, like truth, see here, success, understanding. If you take a subject like philosophy, not easy to understand, completely abstract in nature, and people may think understanding the philosophical ideology or philosophical concepts remains elusive. Definitely, who is this Bhimana? Very good. You have to recollect words like obscure. That is in a way related, but not exactly the synonym. Obscure, vague, ambiguous means difficult to understand. But elusive goes more with difficult to get something like peace, success. Synonyms: evasive, slippery, intangible, ambiguous, subtle. Antonyms: clear, obvious, tangible, attainable, straightforward. When I say concrete, something you can see or touch, what is the other word for that? Tangible. And abstract, something you cannot see or touch. For that, what is the other word? Intangible. Two important words. The second one, maximalist position. This is a new expression we have got for the first time, I suppose. Say yes or no. We have got this for the first time, maximalist position or approach. What does it mean? It's a phrase, part of speech, noun phrase, meaning a stance or stand that involves making the most extreme or uncompromising demands in negotiations or politics. Imagine you're dealing with someone, you're into negotiations or deliberations, and you take a particular stand which is very difficult to achieve. It is like an extreme position, not practical, not pragmatic, not easy to achieve. Extreme or uncompromising demands. Then we use maximalist position. Russia continues to hold a maximalist position, refusing to make any concessions. When it comes to armistice, peace, truce between Russia and Ukraine, Ukraine to some extent flexible. Russia seems to be firm on its stand and it has taken a maximalist position. It doesn't want to compromise. Word forms adjective maximalist, noun a person. He is a maximalist. You can use that way also. Word combinations adopt a maximalist position, abandon maximalist demands. Abandon means what? To leave. Word usage common in diplomacy, politics, and negotiations to describe rigid, all or nothing positions. Rigid, not flexible. Rigid, you all know the meaning. Synonyms, hardline stance, an important expression. Uncompromising position, extreme demand. Antonyms, minimalist position, moderate stance, compromise. Referendum. This is also a term that goes with polity. When you deal with the subject political science, you come across this. Part of speech noun. What does it mean? A general vote by the public on a single political question or issue. A single political question, a single issue. Entire country votes. That is known as a referendum. Example, the country held a referendum on its membership in the union. Imagine a particular country wants to not able to decide whether it has to take the membership or not in a particular organization or union. Then it goes in for referendum. The entire country, all the people vote. Majority says yes, they go in for that. Majority no, then they don't take the membership. Word forms plural, referendums, referenda. Both can be used. This is important. Referendum singular. Referendums, you can also use a plural form, referenda. That's an important one you have to remember. Word combinations, hold a referendum, vote in a referendum result. Word usage used in constitutional, national, or local policy decisions. It goes more with policy decisions. Synonyms, public vote, plebiscite, an important word you have to remember. Referendum, plebiscite. These are political terms. They go with the subject political science. Antonyms, parliamentary decision, executive order. Untenable. We have got the word tenable many a time here, quite opposite, untenable. What does it mean? Part of speech, adjective. Not able to be defended, justified, or maintained, especially of an argument, opinion, situation. Generally, when we say tenable, something that can be maintained, something that is possible or feasible. Untenable, quite opposite. Look at the example. His claims became untenable when new evidence emerged. Means he could not justify his claims. Word forms, adverb, untenably. Word combinations, untenable position or argument. Morally untenable, politically untenable. Exactly. Word usage often used to refer to arguments, claims, or positions that are logically or ethically indefensible. Tenable, opposite, untenable. Synonyms, indefensible, unsustainable, unjustifiable, unworkable. Antonyms, obviously, tenable, defensible, justifiable, sustainable. Here, sustainable means something that can be maintained. What does it mean? Something that can be maintained. Yes, Vishnu. Unwarranted has a different meaning. Unnecessary, unwarranted, not required in a particular situation. But I appreciate that's good. You have contributed something. Appease. Appease, another important word. It has a religious connotation. meaning to pacify or placate someone by giving to their demands. You try to make a particular community, a particular group, you try to make them happy by yielding to their demands, then in a way you're appeasing. An important word. Example, the government tried to appease the protesters by offering reforms. That means they wanted to pacify the protesters. Word forms, noun appeasement, adjective appeasing. Word combinations, appease tensions, appease an enemy. Policy of appeasement. And this word you see in the newspapers quite often based on a particular party. One party accuses another party saying that they are resorting to appeasement of the minorities. I don't want to mention, but you can make out. Tranquilize has a different meaning. Tranquil. Mollify, you can recollect, Vishnu. And Jayalakshmi. Tranquil means calm, serene, tranquil, placid. Other connotations. Word usage often used in political or diplomatic contexts, sometimes with the negative connotation of weakness. It has a negative connotation, means negative meaning. Synonyms, placate, pacify, mollify, soothe. Antonyms, provoke, inflame, aggravate, challenge. All are simple words. That's all about editorial vocabulary. As I said, today's editorial is all about truce between Russia and Ukraine and the role of the US, especially the US President Donald Trump. Let us see how it goes. Elusive truce. What do you understand from this? Truce is not easy to achieve in this scenario. Difficult to achieve, then elusive. What is difficult to achieve? Peace, truce. But what is the main idea? Russia must give up its maximalist position and end the war. Here, must give up. Must talks about an obligation imposed by the speaker or the writer. In this context, by the writer or the editorial. Another function, it is used to convey the idea something is compulsory. But here the first meaning, Russia must do what? Give up. Give up is a phrasal verb. Means what? Stop doing something, in a way quitting. And I always tell youngsters while preparing for competitive exams, do remember, winners never quit, quitters never win. Must give up its maximalist position. Means they have demands, extreme demands, uncompromising stand. Russia has to change its stand, be to some extent flexible, should not be rigid. And end the war. Once it changes its maximalist position, it results in ending the war. Something positive based on the stand taken by the editorial. The Trump administration's frustration. I'm sure you all know the meaning of the word frustration. Imagine you're preparing, you're studying seriously. On and off, you have power cuts. How do you feel? Happy or frustrated? You get frustrated, means unhappy with the situation. This talks about the Trump administration's frustration over the lack of progress in diplomatic efforts to end the Ukraine war was evident in Secretary of State Marco Rubio's remarks in Paris last week. As soon as he became the president of the US, at the time of the campaign, at the time of elections, before becoming the president of the US, Donald Trump, during campaigning, he said that he would end the war within 24 hours. What is the time frame he gave? 24 hours. But months he has been in power, nothing, no progress whatsoever. That based on that frustration, obviously, the Trump administration's frustration over the lack of progress, no progress as such regarding what? Diplomatic efforts to end the Ukraine war was evident in Secretary of State Marco Rubio's remarks in Paris last week. After talks with America's European allies, he warned that the US would move away if there was no progress within days. In a way, they have given the deadline. He met actually, his America's allies in Europe, European allies. During the discussions, he must have made a statement. What is that statement? Since there's no progress, if they don't find, the US doesn't find any progress within days, then it would move away from this process of peace or truce. Would move away if there was no progress within days, in a way, deadline. Within days, something has to happen, something positive should happen. US President Donald Trump appeared to endorse the comments. Appeared to endorse. Endorse usually goes with products. Here it goes with a statement. Endorse means what? To support publicly. When a particular celebrity comes and talks about a particular product, what is that celebrity trying to do? Endorse the product. Here, endorse a statement. Support the statement made by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Despite Mr. Trump's campaign promise, this is what I was talking about. During the campaign, it was one of the promises made by Donald Trump. Despite Mr. Trump's campaign promise to end the war within 24 hours, within 24 hours, months into his presidency, months are over, Jan, Feb, March, April, he remains far from building a consensus on even a temporary ceasefire. Remains far from something. Far from what? Building a consensus. Consensus means what? No disagreement, harmonious, everyone agrees, all unanimous. You can say consensus. A consensus on even, forget about the permanent solution. No consensus even on even a temporary ceasefire. Temporary ceasefire. No progress as such. If he expected the Russians to jump on a proposal for a ceasefire in return for some Ukrainian concessions, he has miscalculated. He expected Russians to change their stand immediately based on some concessions made by the Ukrainians, but it hasn't happened. Based on that, the editorial says Donald Trump has miscalculated. If he expected the Russians to jump on a proposal for a ceasefire in return for what? Some Ukrainian concessions, he has miscalculated because Russians are not willing to come forward. The US has already ruled out NATO membership for Ukraine. There's one important phrasal verb, rule out, means it is not, something is not going to happen, something like impossible. I'll give one example. The meeting between the management and the union is ruled out. Means what? It is not going to happen. The US has already ruled out NATO membership for Ukraine and declared it will not be part of any post-war security guarantees for Kyiv prior to direct negotiations with Russia. The stand taken by the US, two dimensions. One, it would not be part of any post-war security guarantees, and also ruled out NATO membership. It also arm twisted. I think we got this last week. Arm twisted means what? To force someone to do something. You compel someone to do something, arm twisted. Based on the situation, you try to do that. It also arm twisted Ukraine into proposing a 30-day ceasefire. However, while Mr. Trump appears focused on an immediate cessation, cessation means what? Ending. Ending of what? Hostilities. We have got the word hostility, hostile many a time. Hostile, hostility, enmity, antagonistic, all these you should recollect. However, while Mr. Trump appears focused on an immediate cessation of hostilities, ending hostilities or enmity, the Kremlin has insisted that any ceasefire deal must be part of a comprehensive peace agreement. Russia's stand is what? Any agreement or some sort of agreement related to peace, it should be comprehensive in nature. Comprehensive peace agreement. We have got the word comprehensive many a time. What does it mean? All inclusive. I usually give three words: comprehensive, holistic, and exhaustive. All the three are important words. Very good. Naidu Paidi. Comprehensive peace agreement that addresses the core security concerns. Russia has its own concerns, core security concerns. Core, the most important. I usually give one combination. The combination is core competency. means your actual expertise, your strength. The US is reportedly circulating a new proposal to end the fighting. Initially, whatever the US president proposed has not worked out. Now they are coming up with a new proposal. The US is reportedly circulating a new proposal to end the fighting. And this new proposal shared with European and Ukrainian officials. It has a US prepared to recognize Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014 following a contentious referendum. Contentious, an important word, means what? Controversial. Referendum, I have already given. The people of a country decide on a particular issue, referendum, which Russia annexed. Annex means to occupy. In 2014, following a contentious referendum as Russian territory. It deals with what the new proposal has. This sentence talks about that. The plan also takes NATO membership off the table for Ukraine. Take membership off the table means they're not going to consider membership for Ukraine in NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and seeks to freeze the conflict along the front line. Freeze the conflict along the front line means what? Stop it. Effectively leaving the territories Russia captured since the war began in 2022 in its hands. The war started way back in 2022. Today, now it is 2025, and Russia has captured certain portions, and they have decided to leave those in the hands of Russia. After responses from Ukraine and Europe, the US plans to approach Moscow. The new proposal, initially it will be presented to European members, allies, and Ukraine. And once they say, okay, fine with that, they will approach Moscow. But Russia has stuck to its maximalist positions, which include rejecting security guarantees for Ukraine and insisting on its demilitarization. Russia is not willing to give any security guarantees to Ukraine and also insisting on demilitarization, which is not acceptable for any sovereign country. Wars rarely end through maximalist positions. This is a stand taken by the editorial. Main idea. To justify that, you have to understand that, you have to read other sentences. A categorical statement. Wars rarely end through maximalist positions. While Russia has made territorial gains, it has also paid a price. Russia has occupied a few parts of Ukraine, but it has also paid a price, means many Russian soldiers died. It suffered a lot. Ukraine, despite its apparent weakness, despite of is not correct, and in spite of three separate words, its apparent weakness. Apparent, we have got many a time. What does it mean? Obvious weakness on the battlefield signals that it is ready to continue the fight with the Western support. Russia is very strong. Ukraine is not that strong. Russia has suffered a lot and it wants to continue. And on the other hand, Ukraine has also suffered a lot and a weaker nation. Still, it wants to continue. What is the reason? It has the support of the Western countries. With Western support, Europe has also made it clear that it will continue backing Ukraine. Here, backing means support. It is going to support Ukraine with or without American involvement. Whether the US is going to support or not, Europe is ready to back Ukraine. For any lasting peace in Ukraine, it is important to address Russia's legitimate security concerns. Editorial opines Russia has security concerns and they have to be considered. For any lasting peace, last means to exist for a long time. In Ukraine, it is important to address Russia's legitimate security concerns. However, the Russian demands that Ukraine limit its defense partnership. What is a demand made by Russians? Ukraine must limit its defense partnership with its allies or accept restrictions on its military capabilities are untenable for any sovereign nation. Ukraine is a sovereign nation, means what? Politically independent. And Russia cannot dictate terms to Ukraine regarding its military limitations or regarding its support, taking support from someone else. Russia has nothing to say, not acceptable, because Ukraine is a sovereign country. So Mr. Trump should continue to strive for, we have got many a time, work hard for common ground between all the parties. What are the parties involved here? Who are the stakeholders? The US, Ukraine, Europe, and Russia. For a durable peace, instead of appeasing just one power, instead of making one particular power happy, the peace agreement should make happy all the stakeholders like the US, Europe, Ukraine, and Russia. It ends on that particular note. Let us go to questions based on comprehension skill. Read the first one. Try to answer. What is the central idea of the editorial? Ukraine should accept Russian terms for peace. The US must withdraw from peace talks. Lasting peace in Ukraine requires compromise from all sides, especially Russia abandoning its maximalist stance. Answer is C. What does the editorial imply about the US's current diplomatic approach under Trump? Easy to answer, should not be a problem. What does the editorial imply about the US's current diplomatic approach under Donald Trump? Yes, it is driven mainly by Trump's campaign promises and seeks quick fixes, temporary solutions. B is the answer. What is the writer's view on Ukraine's right to maintain military partnerships? Ukraine has a right to maintain military partnerships and it has a right to expand its military ability. And what exactly the writer wants to convey regarding that? Ukraine should avoid, no. Yes, C is the answer. Ukraine, as a sovereign state, has a right to choose its military alliances. No one can impose or dictate terms. Any sovereign country has a right to go in any direction whatsoever. Other countries cannot dictate terms. What can be inferred about Europe's stance on the Ukraine war? What is the stand taken by Europe regarding the war between Ukraine and Russia? Europe will stop supporting? No. As aligned? No. Europe is committed to supporting Ukraine even without US involvement. Clearly mentioned. C is the answer. Which of the following best captures the tone of the editorial? Optimistic and celebratory? No. Neutral and detached? No. Critical and persuasive? Sarcastic and humorous? No. Critical at the same time, persuade. Persuade someone means what? Convince someone to do something. Persuasive. Answer is C. Let us go to mini mocks. Try to spot the error. I have divided. I hope you can make out. After the 73rd and 74th Amendments to the Constitution that allowed for one-third representation of all seats in Panchayat Raj institutions and urban local bodies to be reserved for women, some states, including Tamil Nadu, increased that to 50%. Not easy, mind you. You got to read meticulously. I will wait for a few seconds. If you guys don't respond, I will tell you where the error is. No, Vishnu, nothing wrong with the first part. Pavani of the. No, nothing wrong. Here there's an error in the fourth part. What is it? Some states, including Tamil Nadu, increased. Increased, that is not correct. Here we have to use the demonstrative pronoun or demonstrative adjective, this. Increased this too 50%, not that, this, because it talks about something here in the sentence. We cannot use that. Not easy, that's what I said, quite challenging. Here, this means what? Increase this reservation from 1/3 to 50%. We cannot say that. Try to choose the appropriate word. The move to include persons with disabilities in governance is seen as a step towards empowerment and equality. When you read, shall I? What is the answer for the third one? The policy aims to, the stigma. Stigma is a negative word, mark of disgrace associated with a quality, a profession, a person. That means you need something like remove. What is the other word for remove? Erode. The stigma associated with disabilities by promoting inclusion in local bodies. Preserve is not correct, highlight is not correct, exaggerate, no, celebrate. The policy aims to erode the stigma, means what? Remove the stigma. Very good, you guys got it right. Double pillars, the government's role is to its citizens, especially those with disabilities, and to ensure that no one is, from the democratic process, no one is isolated, no one is cut off. You should understand based on the context. Is to empower its citizens. No, no one is elected from. Is to include its citizens. No one is benefited, not at all acceptable. Uplift its citizens. No one is alienated from democratic process. This seems okay. Upliftment, take to a higher level. But what is the next option? Take along. Take along means inclusive growth, making them part of mainstream. The government's role is to take along its citizens, especially those with disabilities, and to ensure that no one is excluded from the democratic process. Answer is D. Those have got very good. I appreciate. Not an easy one. One more question on double pillars. Tamil Nadu's initiative may lead to greater social positive word and help the disabled community gain wider societal acceptance. One word has to pop up. Based on that, greater social isolation, you need a positive word. Acceptance and societal recognition seems okay. Neglect, negative word. Exclusion, negative word. Misunderstanding, negative word. So what is the answer? Lead to greater social acceptance and help the disabled community gain wider societal recognition. Here, word usage. What is the word? Notorious. I forgot to change. What is the word? Marginalized. Now read the sentences. The reform brings a marginalized community into the mainstream. Here, this seems okay. And here it should be incorrectly, not correctly. Opposite. You have to identify the sentence where the word is not used properly. Nothing wrong with this. He struggled to gain acceptance into the mainstream workforce. Seems right. The mainstream river had many tributaries joining it. No. We don't say mainstream river. We say main river. The main river. Her opinions were considered too radical for the mainstream media. No. Answer is C. It is not mainstream river. It is main river. No, 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 no. Answer is what? Not A. It is C. Mainstream river is absolutely wrong. The main river and its tributaries. Here, praise meaning. What is the meaning of the phrase? Take along its citizens as used in the editorial. To physically carry them, to imprison them, to exclude the majority, to transport, to include and support them in initiatives. Yes, D is the answer. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched. Do spend time on important words, important expressions. That habit will help in the long run. Have a nice day. Thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Same format.